Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Chef Heff. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. This will be the ingredients we'll be using today for our chicken, pasta, and cream mushroom soup dish. So let's get started. So we will be using two whole chicken cutlets, cutting them up into cubes. You can slice it and fillet it, or use thin sliced if you like. Today I'm going with full chicken breast. You can do this method before or after you cook them. That's up to you. I like to do it before just to get it out of the way. You can either use the fat or not. That's up to you. Sometimes I take the chunks of fat out. Just cut the chicken into smaller cubes or slices or however you want. The way Chef Heff does it, there's really no measuring, no recipes, no sizes. It's just basically eyeing it. I've been putting a lot of recipes on my Facebook page of Rob's Recipes. I decided to try a YouTube channel now to see if it worked out any better or if anybody actually cares how this stuff was made. My mother used to make a dish like this. I just changed it up a little bit. Feel free to go on to Rob's Recipes at any time to see more recipes and decide whether or not you like them. I do all kinds of cooking: chicken, steak, vegetables. Not a lot of vegetables, but some. Barbecue. As you can see, using 2 chicken cutlets is more than enough for a whole dish. Once you cut it up, there's quite enough chicken to use. I also use a whole pound of pasta. I usually use a different kind, but today we're gonna go with rotini. I also do a lot with breakfasts: eggs, uh, home fries, omelets, burritos, basically anything I can think about. Sometimes I use recipes that use exact measurements. Other times I just eye things. Sometimes the prep work takes actually longer than the meal itself, but at the end it usually tastes good, so it's worth it. Sometimes you get some bad pieces of chicken or some that has a vein in it. I basically just put that to the side. I don't use it. The chicken itself is still good. It just had a vein in it, so I just cut around it, and move on. Okay, once that's all cut, what I'm going to do is wash my hands because chicken is disgusting. These recipes are for residential, private use, homemade. So it's just clean when you feel you need to clean. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is turn the oven on to medium. Pour some oil in it. Let that cook for a little while. Temperatures and times may vary based on what oven you have. Just going to take the pieces of chicken that I didn't like, throw them out. Clean your hands again. I don't want anybody getting sick on my first episode. You're going to look at the oil, just kind of coat it around. You can use oil or Pam or butter or whatever healthy or non-healthy way you would like to choose. Once it gets all coated, you can just pour the chicken in right on top. And here's when you can start seasoning the chicken. I like to use adobo, some salt and pepper, maybe a little onion powder. I'm sure the adobo actually has some of that in it, but a little more never hurt. Just take a fork or a spoon or whatever, just mix it around, make sure it cooks evenly on both sides. So as the chicken's cooking, put the water in the pot to start the pasta. Turn this on high. I always put a little bit of salt in the water. Not really sure why. So that's started. Just keep on cooking the chicken, mixing it, making sure it's even on both sides, cooked on both sides. I apologize for the shaky camera. I've really never done this before. I'm just trying it out, see how it works. Maybe turn up the heat a little bit. Let this cook. When this cooks a little bit more, I'm going to put the peas in, and then the cream of mushroom soup into the chicken. And then once the pasta is done, I'm going to put them all together in one pot, and you get a nice creamy chicken pasta. I've had it before, it tastes pretty good. And this time I figured I'd show you how it's done. Ever since I started Rob's Recipes, a couple of people have told me to try out a YouTube page. So I figured I'd try it out, see what happens. The chicken's coming along nicely right about now. While it's mostly cooked, mix it up a little bit more. You can introduce the peas. It's your choice whether or not you want to use the liquid with the peas. I do, because I'm going to drain it later, so just put it all in. This way it helps cook the peas and the chicken. Mix it all in. And then just let that cook for a little while the chicken cooks a little more before you put the cream mushroom soup in. Again, there is no measurements to this. It's just basically what you what you choose. So more ingredients, less ingredients, entirely up to you. So the chicken and the peas are basically cooked through. I said I was going to drain the liquid from the peas, but I chose not to because it's going to be a good watery substance for the cream mushroom soup to work with. Now that this is all cooked, I can put the cream mushroom soup in. Hopefully just slide out. It's not, so I'm going to have to pause for a second. Okay, so all the chicken cream mushroom soup is in. Just mix it up with the peas and the chicken. A nice milky sauce, creamy sauce, sorry. Maybe should have drained the peas or added less. What I might do is just add one more small can of cream mushroom soup to thicken it up. Just let that sit for a while, see what happens. So I did wind up using another can, small can of the cream and mushroom soup. It was a little too watery. Just thickened it up a little bit. Keep it mixing, lower the temperature. And as you can see, the water's boiling for the pasta. So, put the pasta in. Once I put pasta in, I like to reduce the heat to halfway, medium heat. Some people don't, I do. This is basically done, just keeping it on for, just heat it, keeping it warm. Might as well put it to low. Take a spoon, mix this up, make sure none of the noodles get stuck together. Now once the sauce is done, I like to take some French's dried onions. That apparently is a brand new package. Put these in. Mix it in. It almost looks like a green bean casserole, but it gives it a nice crunch to your soft meal. As long as you don't cook it too much. So, mix up the pasta. Make sure it's, as I said, evenly cooking. Make sure none of the pasta is sticking together. I'm noticing the pictures that I'm sending aren't really that good with light and stuff. So I'm trying to give you different angles of what it looks like. So with a small pasta, it really doesn't take that long to cook. Still boiling. Make sure it's, not hard, which it's not. So now I'm going to put the pasta in a strainer, then combine both the pasta and the sauce into one pan.